engineers, senior principal and chief business officer for EMA, been with the company for over 35 years. I spent a lot of time doing energy audits through SECO program. We were the contractor for them for a number of years. I've done audits for thousands of school districts and thousands of schools and multiple school districts. So I have a lot of experience in doing schools, doing energy audits. So we're going to share some basics for the beginner of getting started, what you need to do to be successful doing energy audits. Our learning objectives. Why do we do audits? Second one is types and levels of audits, and then strategies for audits. And that's probably the one we're going to touch on most today is how do you get started? So there's multiple approaches. I've seen all of these approaches work. First one we call the couch potato approach. That's for the lazy energy manager that all he wants to do is sit at his computer and he can turn things on and off. He can actually, I've seen energy managers use the surveillance cameras if they can get security to let them have access to do night audits to see what's going on in their buildings at night, and to use the energy management system and turn things on and off, schedule things, tighten schedules up. I'll share Danny Helm's little secret, and he'll probably get on to me later if his principals ever see this, but simple things is backing times, stop times up 15 minutes a day until somebody complains, and then you know where your limits are. So it's easy to do. Nobody sees it, nobody feels it. As long as you don't adjust the temperatures too far, nobody complains. The second one I call covert ops. It's when nobody else is around and you're auditing and you go in your buildings and you look at things. That's when you go in and you find the refrigerator hidden in the cabinets, and you find the lights that are getting left on 24/7 because nobody's responsible for turning them off. Literally been into gyms and spring break. For me, the energy manager and the custodian were the only people in the building, and all the gym lights were on. Been on for 24/7 for a full week. So it's an opportunity to go in to see what your building is doing. Nobody else around looking for things. I know there's a group that is a proponent of turning things off when you find them on at night. I don't encourage that. I think you would be better off working with your maintenance staff and others to make sure something's not going on, such as a freeze protection mode, or there's a mechanical problem that they're having to run things extensively. And plus, just shutting things off are never a good idea without proper procedures. The last approach is one that I've seen probably the most success, is a friends and family approach. It's simply making the people in the school your friend. The best friends you can make in a school is a custodian. They're the first ones there, the last ones to leave. And if you can get them to work with you, encourage them to see the value of turning the lights off and not using the lights as a method of seeing what's been done and what hadn't been done. And then you can they can also help you identify things that aren't working, such as exterior lights that are staying on all day long. So there's a lot of opportunities, and then find that one teacher in the school that's the champion for sustainability, the champion for green, or the champion, whatever title you want to put on it, and embrace them and help them be successful in encouraging their kids. We'll talk a little more about that as we move on through the presentation. Strategies without cost. Reviewing your utility bills. I know of a district that I won't name. It's been a number of years, but we went in through SECO and did an audit for them and found some discrepancies. And the more we dug into it, they had been misbilled for a number of years, totaling over $100,000. And the utility company admitted their mistake. It was a city-owned utility. They admitted their mistake and they refunded the money, and the school district used that money in order to support their energy management program for a year. And they started an energy management program, then it can sustain itself with savings going forward. So it's really easy to review your bills, know what you're looking at. If you don't understand them, get help. They can be a little complicated, but basically know what you're paying and why you're paying it, and if there's opportunities there to save through billing errors. Create operating procedures and guidelines. Again, this just takes some buy-in. You have to have your administrative buy-in, but there's opportunities there if you can document savings and make small changes and procedures, opportunity there to save. Watt Watchers is back alive and well. I understand, I think even TEMA, and I know this is going to be recorded, but there's a TEMA presentation coming up, I believe, on Watt Watchers. So Light Watchers is back and alive, and I continue to embrace that program. I know that program has been successful for a lot of people over a number of years. There's a lot of energy managers across the state that would be glad to help you, Light Watchers. Again, the key to that is finding that friend in the school that will champion your Watt Watchers for you on the campus. I've literally seen principals celebrate a Watt Watcher win for the year. So make it a competition, make it fun, make it for the kids, and implement a fun program that the kids can actually take home, and their dads and moms won't have to yell at them, or you raised in a barn, or you don't pay the light bills around here, just turn the lights off. So again, make a friend of your custodial staff and your maintenance staff. Historically, maintenance and energy don't always get along. I know I said in a meeting one time when the head of the HVAC department said he could fix the problem by running everything 24/7. That's not a good method of fixing any problem. So, but you have to make friends with them. You have to explain to them what you can do to help them in order for them to help you. Energy awareness is always good. I always encourage you to celebrate wins. No matter how small or how big they are, if somebody does something good, get it out there. Let everybody know about it. Administrative people and professional people are competitive. They didn't get where they are by being complacent. So make it a competition. Make everybody aware who's doing well and who's not doing well. Share usage and cost data with the principals. A lot of times it's easy for them to say, well, I want to run, my schools till 10 o'clock every night in case I need to do a tutorial. Well, that's not logical, but if you show them that, this is what it costs the district to do that, and that money can be spent better other places, and they can tend to get more cooperative. Again, strategies without cost. Simplest one is turn it off if you're not being used. I always like to quote Victor Melton in my presentations. And Victor said that the most efficient device is the one that is turned off when it's not in use. And that's so true. Is that we look for opportunities for daylighting and other things to just turn things off. Delamping of vending machines. It's not as bad as it used to be because a lot of them use LED lighting now, so the usage is small, but still that's a 24/7 light that's on. And who would leave a light on 24/7 if you had to switch to turn it off? So get the lights out of them. They're a captive audience. It's not like they need the advertising. Now, the other part of that is a lot of people will advocate turning machines off during off hours. I would caution you, if you're going to turn them off for an extended period of time, make sure you unload them. The product in them will explode and cause bad, you'll have a mess when you come back. So if you're going to turn them off, like in the summer or over time, make sure you get them unloaded and make sure you follow the manufacturer's recommendations for doing that. Keeping doors closed, to condition spaces, and then sleep mode. I talked about the Casper approach to energy management, and an energy manager that embraced that approach, and he was good at it. He had very efficient schools. But we're looking at his stuff over spring break one time, and we noticed 2 rooms that were 90-something degrees. And so I encouraged him, let's go look and see what they are. What was 2 computer labs. The computers had been on since spring break let out, and this was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday of the week. The room had crept to 90 degrees, and so it was a simple matter of going in and turning the computers off, putting them in sleep mode, and you accomplished 2 things. One, you didn't overheat, causing an undue burden on the air conditioning system, but you also saved the energy of computers running even when they were in, these weren't even in sleep mode. They were shut down and not at all. Again, monitoring temperatures, play with temperature set points. Work with your kitchen staff. Again, kitchen staff's first one there. Every morning they see things that you won't see, but encourage them. Don't come in and just turn the kitchen hoods on just because you can. Work your cooking and turn them off when you're done cooking. Work with your administration and your security people to reduce hours of outdoor lighting. I know there's a lot of conversation on whether you stay lit all night long or you do blackouts. I've seen arguments on both sides, but part of if you can, and even with technology today, you can actually dim lights and leave them on and have them brighten back up. There's a lot of opportunities with outdoor lighting that wasn't around a few years ago. Work on a policy for personal appliances. There's no need really and it's easy for me to say, I've never taught a class in school, but why do we need a coffee maker, a microwave, a refrigerator, and a hot plate all plugged in the classroom? The teachers have a place to go do. They have a room most likely to store those things and to keep those things and to use those things. See, but a lot of times that will take a policy to get that out, but discourage the use of those items. But work with them, not just don't go cut the cords. I've seen that done. That usually does not create friendships. But work with them to find out a method. Say, okay, well, y'all need another refrigerator. Well, let's get one energy efficient refrigerator and put it in a common space for you to share, and do those things. Work with people. And then one other thing I'll touch on here, and we'll move on, is the consolidation of school activities. You have to know your buildings, but if you've got a space that only takes a rooftop unit to run one space, as opposed to running a central plant to cool the space, then encourage your students to use that, and encourage that in your design of new buildings to have a space such as a library or a cafeteria that can be operated without running the rest of the school for those activities. I know Wiley ISD, we just worked with them in order to create some of those spaces so they could schedule after hours commonly used activities without running half the school to keep the central plant alive. Office equipment. I've seen some schools that like laminators. I don't know how much laminators are still used today, but they had one day of lamination day. That way they didn't have to run that high energy using equipment. Daylighting, and encourage the use of turning lights off in areas that are heavily daylighted. Recommend chill water temperatures. I'm going to caution you on this. There was a certain energy management companies going around and encouraging you to increase your chill water temperatures. In West Texas, you can get away with that. In East Texas, to a limited amount, you can get away with that. In the Houston Gulf Coast area, you're not going to get away with it. So make sure if you increase your chill water temperatures, you do it into an area that can maintain humidity, maintain comfort in your building, and do not get them outside parameters of design. Walkthroughs. Okay, we're going to do a quick walkthrough. These are some old pictures I've had around for a while, but I think they'll touch base on some things. Now, when you start your walkthrough, the first thing you need to know, first thing you got to have is you got to have a map of the school. There's no need to walk through a school and go, where am I? What is it? I've got 3 rooms here with the lights on. I want to document it, and I don't know any way to identify where I'm at. So before you start your walkthrough, make sure you have a map of the school. It's easy to do. You go in the office and ask for a fire evacuation map. If they don't have one readily to hand you, they will probably have one on the wall by the fire alarm panel, and you can take it down and Xerox it and put it back. So make sure you have a map of the school so that you can know where you are and start locating key things. Maybe you got an area that's good opportunity for daylighting, or you'll know where the central plant is, know where your air handler runs is. You can start documenting that thing. Then have a camera, because first thing you're going to do is find something wrong, and they're going to deny it. And then if you got a photograph documented, you can say, well, here's the photo I took. Here's what's going on. Classically, we have a picture, and it may come up in this presentation, but we have a picture that has a big sign that says do not put in hand, with a handoff auto switch in hand. So you can find those kind of things. You find equipment in hand. You find drives that are overamped, that are running full capacity constantly. You can document those things with a camera. And then you may want to also get like a light meter and determine if that way, if you have areas that you want to look at daylighting, or look at rooms that may be overlit, that you can quick test with light meters. And then the last thing is probably a temperature sensor of some sort, so you can see if rooms, because the first thing you're going to hear when you start walking through is my room is hot. So you can verify if rooms are hot, if sensors need to be calibrated, and those kind of things. So get all those things together, get with you, and start your walkthrough. And just look at things. First thing here, this is actually an older school that has outdoor corridor. And they blocked all the lights, all the doors are blocked open. I actually walked to school here in a gym here in Tyler years ago. We air conditioned 8 campuses. gyms, just metal building gyms. We did them all exactly the same. And I get a call from the facilities manager or the facilities director. And he says, I got one that's not working. I said, okay, I'll pick you up. Let's run and look at it. We pull up in the parking lot. We're sitting looking down at the gym, and the outside doors going into the gym are propped open. And I looked at him. He looked at me. I said, I think I see the problem. And he agreed. We walked down, and we found some other items in there too. But the main thing is we can't air condition the whole world. You need to keep your doors closed to keep your air conditioning, because the first thing they do, they complain, not realizing what they're doing and how they're creating a problem. Exterior lights. Again, this is a great place to engage your custodians too, because they're the first ones there and the last ones leave. They know when lights come on and know when lights go off. But if you have, you have your map, you can document where these are. Go back to your maintenance department and say, what controls these? Do we have an issue with a time plot? Do we have an issue with the MCS? Do we have a bad photo cell? Daylighting available. A lot of schools have a lot of light now. Daylighting is a big thing. Let's use it. I've seen many a school with a skylight with lights in it that the lights are on during the day, and the skylight's providing ample light for anything you're doing. And the lights are actually, a lot of times, even up lights are made to make the skylights look nice at night. Lights on in the classroom and unoccupied. Again, this is where you enlist your Watt Watcher program. Get them tickets. A lot of teachers get tickets and have consequences for if you get too many tickets. This happens or that happens, or make them responsible and let the kids hold them accountable. Thermostat near heat and emitting device. Here I'm showing an aquarium. A lot of times it's a computer. They come in, they pack computers in the classroom, and they don't realize they set it right in front of the sensor. So you're constantly overcooling. The other thing is make sure that the overhead projectors, I think, are kind of a thing of the past, but I'm sure they can find another light source or lamp that teachers like to park in front of the thermostat. Things like that cause a false reading on your thermostats. Again, this can be found by looking at your control system and then going out in the field and identifying what's the source. That's your settings. This is where you need your administration backup, because if you don't have it, then you'll never get cooperation. You're going to get constant complaints. If you're going to have one teacher wants at 68, one wants at 75. Be frankly honest with you, I am not a big proponent of hard and fast rules. I think there needs to be some guidelines, and maybe it's 70 to 74 or 68 to 72 in heating, but they need to have some range because everybody's a little different. So allow them to adjust the set point a little bit to give them a little bit of control, but keep it in a range and have your administration back you up on that range. And notice, and know, that, okay, if you want it below 70, you have to get approval from somebody in the administrative branch for me to do that. Again, I already talked about computers not in sleep mode. I know technology sometimes resists this because they do push of updates and during the middle of the night, but they can go in sleep mode, and there's software available that will wake them back up. Just work with your technology department, let them understand the cost of running computers 24/7. Vending machines. I already talked about this a little bit, but you're advertising for Coca-Cola, and Coca-Cola does not need the school's dollars for advertising. They're fully capable of funding their own advertising sources. So turn them off, turn the lights off. I mean, even they keep the machine, you're gonna keep the stuff cool. You're not damaging their product, but you don't need to advertise for them. Again, lights on unoccupied. Classic examples are like cafeterias. Cafeterias are done at 1 o'clock. Who's responsible for turning those lights off? Nowadays, we have vacancy sensors and occupancy sensors, but a lot of times, one person can trigger those things. So if you got one person sweeping the floor in the cafeteria, do you really need all the lights on? Do you need any of the lights on? So evaluate those things and look for opportunities in large spaces that nobody's responsible for. Cafeterias, gyms, libraries, places that are intermittent use, and nobody's responsible really for turning the lights on and off. I'm gonna get into Cammy's business now. This is one of the blatant stage lights and drama auditorium lights. Those are high energy uses. Now, a lot of times you can get them LED now, but a lot of the old auditoriums are still incandescent. The spotlights are incandescent. They're large heat producing devices, and also they're really not needed. You know, make sure that if they do use the stage for scene settings and prop painting and stuff, make sure they have work lights up there, stuff they can use during non-production times for rehearsals to do this stuff without not using all the auditorium lights. Walking in the mechanical rooms, you do not have to be a mechanic tech to walk in a mechanical room and sense something's wrong. Just listen. If it doesn't sound right, it's probably not right. You can hear loose belts. You can hear things that need to be oiled. You can hear squeaks. You can hear noises. Use your ears, listen, document it, and report it to your maintenance staff and give them the opportunity to help you learn how to help, you know, you're helping them identify problems before they become crisis. 2030 challenge. This is a time that has been documented and accepted by some architectural firms that they will be net zero by 2030. I'm not sure how it's going. They're making progress, but be involved in the design of your new schools. Encourage sustainability, encourage energy using products when they make sense. There's some things that are not, you know, are not feasible and do not make sense, but work those things in your budget and work those things into that really make sense. Things like LED lighting, controls, variable speed HVAC equipment, all those things are commonplace and reasonably affordable now. They're not high cost items anymore. So work those things into your design, and let's work towards this net zero or carbon neutral setting in by 2030. Guidelines were adopted in 2006 for existing buildings. So the ideal is to reduce your carbon footprint by 50%. There's a lot of things that go into that. I encourage you, if you got more questions about that, reach out to your architects, talk to them about 2030. Track your buildings, know where you are. It's easier to know where you're going if you know where you are. Your site EUI. If you don't know how to calculate your EUI and you need to make sure you get on the ATM classes and do those things and learn how to do your EUI and calculate your energy usage so you can do your comparisons with other buildings in your area. Now, energy modeling is also a big deal in the 2030. So encourage your design staff. This is for new buildings to model and have an opportunity to address things that are big in energy modeling. I'm going to go into all this 2030. There's a lot of stuff there. We can spend a lot of time on it, but I'm encouraging if you got questions about it, please feel free to contact us, and we are your architect. Go to LEED, Green Building Council. They will also be happy to share information with these things on you. All right, that concludes basically what I've got. If you got questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to me. My email address was at the beginning of the presentation. Tima, again, I encourage you that if you got questions, there's some energy manager that has the answer. They've either done it, they've probably done it wrong and know how to correct it. So before you do it, learn from their experience. Reach out to, there's a lot of good guys in the Tima. Reach out to Ashley and Cammie. They can get you up with the right people and get you answers. Again, feel free to contact us at DMA. Thank you.